Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. Today, we're digging into a really critical flashpoint in the global technology race, the conflict over AI intellectual property between the United States and China, a battle with some pretty significant geopolitical implications.
So to really get a sense of the gravity of the situation, let's start at the top. This isn't just a minor claim, it's a direct statement from Michael Kratsios of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. What he's framing here isn't a few isolated incidents. He's talking about a coordinated, industrial-scale campaign, which tells you this issue has reached the absolute highest levels of the U.S. government.
Now, our analysis today is based on some excellent reporting from Ars Technica. Specifically, we're drawing from the article by Ashley Belanger, titled U.S. Accuses China of Industrial-Scale AI Theft. China says it's slander. This piece really lays out the escalating tensions and gives us the factual basis for our discussion.
Okay, so to really unpack all of this, we're going to break it down into 5 key areas. First, we'll look at the high-stakes accusation itself. Then, we'll get into the technical method they're talking about, which is called AI distillation. After that, we'll examine Washington's proposed response, hear Beijing's very firm denial, and finally, we'll analyze the huge geopolitical and industry stakes at play.
All right, so let's start with the core accusation. You see, this isn't just some abstract dispute between governments. The alarm bells are actually being rung by America's top artificial intelligence firms. They're the ones claiming their most valuable assets, their AI models, are being systematically targeted.
And we're not talking about small players here. This is a pattern of behavior that, according to the allegations, involves the titans of the industry. You have Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI all reporting activities that they believe amount to intellectual property theft. And they're pointing fingers at specific Chinese firms, including DeepSeek, Moonshot, and Minimax, alleging these are large-scale efforts to copy their proprietary AI.
So you're probably wondering, how exactly is this alleged theft supposed to be happening? Well, the key term here is AI distillation. Understanding this technical process is really central to grasping the whole accusation. So what is AI distillation? Well, think of it this way. Imagine a master chef with a famous secret recipe. Now, instead of trying to steal the actual recipe book, a student chef just sits down and orders every single dish on the menu over and over again. They taste them, study them, and eventually try to reverse engineer the recipes. In the AI world, a smaller, less developed model can learn from a larger, more powerful one by studying its outputs. By just hammering the advanced model with queries, developers can create a distilled, copycat version without the massive R&D investment, and in doing so, they often directly violate the original model's terms of service.
And when the White House uses a phrase like industrial scale, this is exactly what they're talking about. Just take Anthropic, for example, the company behind the AI model Claude. They claim that Chinese firms generated over 16 million exchanges using thousands of fraudulent accounts, all with the alleged purpose of distilling their technology. That number really gives you a sense of the sheer volume we're talking about.
Now, faced with these very serious accusations, Washington isn't just sitting back. Let's take a look at how the U.S. government is actually planning to respond to this alleged IP theft. A U.S. House committee has laid out a pretty clear multi-pronged strategy. First, they want to reframe this whole thing legally. They want to treat it not just as a simple terms of service violation, but as what they see it as, industrial espionage. Second, they're calling for really severe financial penalties, fines that are so large they can't just be shrugged off as a cost of doing business. And third, they propose defining this technique as a controlled technology transfer, which would give the government power to restrict access to U.S. models.
And the goal here is crystal clear, is to fundamentally change the risk-reward calculation for any firm considering this. The U.S. wants to move way beyond just deactivating a few accounts and instead make the consequences so punitive that model distillation is no longer a viable competitive strategy.
Of course, there are two sides to this story. In response to these plans and accusations from the U.S., Beijing has not been silent. China has issued a very firm, very unequivocal denial.
The response was incredibly direct and unambiguous. Liu Pengyu, who is a spokesperson for the Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C., characterized the White House's accusations with 2 simple words: pure slander, a complete and total rejection of the premise.
So this is where we land, with 2 diametrically opposed positions. On one side, you have the U.S. alleging a coordinated industrial-scale theft campaign, and on the other, You have China denying it completely, calling it slander, and stating that they're committed to fair competition. There is really no middle ground in their public statements.
So, what happens when two global superpowers have such a fundamental disagreement over the future of technology? Well, this conflict isn't just about a few tech companies. It has major consequences for global tech, for international relations, and for economic security. The stakes here are incredibly high. For the global AI race, this could determine how quickly China is able to close the AI gap with the US. For international relations, it just adds another layer of deep mistrust to an already tense relationship. Economically, it touches on the very core of American innovation and national security. And for the tech industry as a whole, how this gets resolved could set a global precedent for how AI development is regulated for years to come.
And really, this whole situation forces us to confront a very fundamental and challenging question. As AI becomes more and more central to the global economy and to national power, figuring out where the line is between legitimate, competitive innovation and outright industrial espionage, well, that's going to be one of the most critical challenges for all of us.
Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition. If you like these videos, use the QR code at the beginning to buy us a coffee or hire us to coach you or your employees in AI. Please subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel, and please like, comment, and share to help us reach a wider audience.